2, 1.
Hi guys, happy Wednesday. It's so hot. I didn't want to stand in front of you and try to get your attention the whole time when it's so hot and gross. So we're going to do notes this way today and see how it goes. So I'm going to give you an overview of the lost colony of Roanoke, and you're going to fill in your guided notes as we go through. All right, I'm trying to move some stuff so you can see. All right, the colony of Roanoke was actually the first attempt by England to establish a colony in North America. Here's the deal though, no one knows what happened to this colony because it disappeared. Dun dun dun. So it's one of the mysteries that is still trying to be solved today. Here's an overview of how the colony started in the first place. So Sir Walter Raleigh was granted a charter. A charter is the ability by the Queen of England saying that you can go colonize for England in a foreign land. And so he was granted this charter. And so on March 25th, 1884, that's when he was granted the charter. And he did not himself journey to the Americas, but he sent a series of expeditions to the eastern coast of North America in the 1580s. There's a picture of Walter Raleigh right there. He's looking pretty prestigious with his earring. All right, so the final expedition of settlers for this charter left England in 1587, and the leader of this charter was named John White. They landed on the eastern coast of North Carolina in what is now known as the Outer Banks Islands, and they began to build a colony on the island of Roanoke. They built houses, they had a fence built around the settlement as kind of a way of protecting them. They tried to establish relationships with the local native people known as the Croatans and other local tribes. And there's an image of a Croatan right there. Well, the settlers began to become uneasy about the relationship with the natives. They were running out of food, they were running out of supplies, so they asked John White to return to England and to get more supplies for them and bring them back. This would normally be about a 6-month journey. So here are the islands over here. He filled a ship with what he needed, he left, and was hoping to be back in 6 months with the supplies. All right. When he returned to England, he left behind 115 settlers in the Roanoke colony. Included in this group was White's granddaughter, the first English child to be born in the Americas, named Virginia Dare. His daughter had Virginia Dare, and so this is a picture of Virginia being baptized in the Roanoke colony. So the first English child baptized and born on American soil. After arriving in England, White fills up a new ship, is ready to return back to the Americas, and he gets in trouble because England and Spain are having a war, and the Spanish Armada will not let his ship leave the English port. So he ends up being delayed, and he is not able to return to Roanoke for 3 whole years. So 3 years later, he finally returns on August 18th, 1590. He could not find any sign of the settlers and found the colony abandoned. So all the houses that had been built were broken down and gone. There were no dead bodies. Nothing was there. It was like they had completely vanished. The only thing that was found was their initial fence with the word Croatan carved into it, and then the word crow carved into a nearby tree. And there's an image. So what happened to these 115 settlers? That's where the theories come into play. So when you start writing about the theories, you don't have to write it word for word. Just kind of give a summary of what each theory is. So theory 1 says that the settlers broke down their houses, built boats and rafts, and they went out to sea to leave the island of Roanoke. Some say they just died at sea. Their ship sank, they died at sea. Others say they traveled south to the Chesapeake Bay area, and they resettled there and were killed by natives, and that's why we've never seen them again. So this theory, the main idea of this theory is that they built rafts and boats and left by sea and somehow died at sea or died nearby. Theory 2 is, hey, they just joined the natives. They simply integrated with the local native tribes. They married them. They adopted their cultures. They started to dress like them. They just became part of the native tribes. Whether they were forced to do this or they needed to do this to survive, we're not sure. But the word Croatan, which was carved into the fence, was a local tribe. So some say that that was a sign to John White saying, we're with the Croatans. Theory 3. This is saying a storm hit. There was a big hurricane. It wiped out the village. It killed everyone, took their bodies out to sea, and they're gone. It was a powerful storm, which often hits the Atlantic coast. This could have caused the settlers to either abandon the colony and seek refuge elsewhere or be killed by this large storm. We're not sure. All we know is there were no bodies found, and there was still a fence that said Croatan standing. Theory 4, they were simply attacked by natives. They were overrun by local native people. They killed them, took their bodies with them. This had happened to an earlier English colony that did not survive on the same island of Roanoke. So it's not too far-fetched to think that these natives not only killed them, but also took the bodies with them, which is kind of weird. And the final theory is that the Spanish attacked the settlers. So Spain was a powerful European nation and was one of the main rivals with Britain for colonization of the Americas. So maybe Spanish explorers came and they liked this area and they decided we're going to take over it and we're going to kill all the people that are here and overrun the English progress in that area. So maybe the Spanish attacked. All right, well, those are your notes. Hopefully you got them all written down. Thanks.